guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing Ava's 3-month update. Ava is now 14 weeks 1 day, so she is now officially 3 months old. So I'm going to jump in and do her update of what she what she's doing new and what she's doing now. I do have it wrote down, so if you do see me looking down, I'm just looking at my notes because actually I'll just put it up here, so you will know that's what I'm looking at. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is her food. So currently we are still doing combination feeding. She is getting express breast milk and she is getting formula. So she gets 5 bottles a day. So she has done this herself. She was getting 6 to 7 bottles and now she's down to an even 5 bottles a day. They have 7 ounces in each of the bottles, so she is getting 350 milliliters of formula a day. No, 35 ounces of milk a day, whether breast milk or formula. Next thing we're going to talk about is her sleep. So she is really good currently at taking taking naps and sleeping through the night. So she takes several naps throughout the day, and what I've noticed is that about an hour after she stops feeding, she starts to get very sleepy. So I then bring her into her room or put her in a buggy if I'm going out, and I let her nap that way. Sometimes she does fight it, and what I do is if I bring her into the room and she is kind of fighting it and crying, I would pick her back up and come back in here with her and play with her a little bit more, about 10-15 minutes, and then again go back into the room and present to her that she can go to sleep now, and she nearly always falls back asleep. Sometimes I have to shush her, but sometimes I don't even need to do that. I don't need to shush her. I'll just put her soother in her mouth. Usually she spits it straight back out, and she gets herself to sleep. So that is really good, that she's really great at sleeping. So as I said, she would probably nap 4 times during the day, and then she sleeps the whole way through the night. Her last bottle occurs anywhere from half nine onwards, and usually she's in bed by 11, and she will sleep until 7:30. Robert gets up at 7:30, so if he's up at 7, he will come in here, get his breakfast, and then he'll go in and wake her up. And her day starts at that time when Robert feeds her. Robert gives her first feed. So that is really good. I'm hoping she doesn't change too much. Obviously I know she has sleep regression, there will be sleep regressions and stuff, but anyways, that is how it is at the moment. So she sleeps anywhere from a half an hour to 3 hours in those naps throughout the day, and there definitely is one good nap where I get 2 to 3 hours out of her, and then usually it's like a half an hour to an hour for her other naps throughout the day. And she even sleeps, I'll even let her sleep after 7 o'clock, and she will still go to bed at 10-11 o'clock at night. So that's perfect. The next thing I'm going to move on to is her clothing. So Ava is still fits 3 to 6 months, but it's getting a little bit tight, so I have started moving her into 6 to 9 month clothing. So if you want to see her 6 to 9 month clothing, I will have the haul of what she's going to wear in her 6 to 9 month up in the cards and also down below if you're interested in looking at that. It's just a small video, like 2 minutes long, and just showing you the clothes that we have for her at 6 to 9 months if you're interested. And then she is in size 3 nappies. I am on my last 2 packets of nappies in size 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to size 4 just to see what they're like, and if they're not working, obviously we'll just buy more size 3s. It's not a big deal. It's just that we've run out of the stock we've had of the size 3s, so we might just move to size 4 and see if that works. It may or may not. So now onto her development. So she's been doing so much stuff now. I'm looking up here because I can't, there's so much stuff I can't remember. She loves her hands. She will stare at them, she will eat them, she'll stare at our hands. She's really fascinated by hands, which is so cool to look at. But mainly she just shoves it in her mouth and she chews on it. So that is interesting. She, as I said, she will, what she does on her bouncer is she'll concentrate so much to hit something. So this does be hanging over her on the thing, and she'll just stare at her hand, and then eventually she'll hit it. I'll put in a video if I can find it of her doing that, because it's just, I find it just so cute. She constantly blows bubbles in her mouth. She constantly drool and bubbles coming out of her mouth. And obviously she has them out in there. So I definitely think she is teething. I always check to see if teeth are coming through, but there's nothing coming through. There's nothing in the gum or anything. I think it's just like starting to teeth. So we could be teething for a long time. But yeah, definitely has the signs with the bubbles and the drool and the eating of her hands. She smiles really big now. I feel like she's really close to giggling. Sometimes she makes this noise, which is so cute. So I think we're really close to her giving a little laugh to us, which would be amazing. She wants to sit all the time. Like, she will just sit, and we have like my nursing pillow and a V pillow, and I put them on the ground and plop her in between them, and then she'll just, even when she's sitting up that straight, she'll still want to come forward. So obviously we need to be right beside her. I'll include a video of her doing that. We now have my auntie bought us a chair. It has an infant seat, and then it can go into a toddler seat, and it has like a play area around it. I will include footage of that as well. She seems to be a little bit iffy of that. I think it's a bit too advanced for her, but she does like the fact that she can sit up in it, and I do like the fact that she's kind of secured in it. So we don't leave her in that for long, because obviously she's only 3 months. So I kind of want her to be master rolling first, then the whole sitting up. But she does want to sit up constantly. If you just have her lying in her pram, lying on the couch, in her bouncer, she's just trying to pull herself forward. Excuse me. She's grasping her toys a whole lot better now. We have a wind chime and this cow book that she plays with. It's a cow or a horse. Me and Robert have a constant discussion of whether this is a cow or a horse, but she likes those two toys the most. I do have her on her playmat, as you've seen in previous videos, and she does grab and hold the toys there, so that's getting really interesting. She is now moving a lot around her mat. She'll have her feet in the air and she'll kind of fling herself, and she'll move. So we'll start her off in one position and she'll end up in another position. So that's another thing you need to be watching her, because she'll start to probably come out at you. She hasn't rolled over or anything yet, and we are practicing rolling over. So what I do is I get a big blanket and I put her at one side and I put her on her side, and then she'll flip herself onto her stomach. I leave her there for a couple of minutes so she can do her tummy time, and then I'll roll her onto her side and she'll fall back onto her back, and then we just complete that until we get to one end of the blanket, and that is usually enough. So I'm trying to work it now where we get to come up and back on the blanket in this rolling game that we have. So there's also, I'm doing a lot of encouragement, like, oh, good girl, oh, you're so good, oh, you're the best girl, that sort of stuff, you know, as encouragement for her. She probably thinks I'm mental. So tummy time has improved. So in her last update I mentioned that she hates tummy time, so it has improved a lot. I do it now 2-3 times a day. I'm persistent with it, so she is getting used to it. She has no problem with it at all. She can hold her head up and look right and left, but she doesn't spend enough time on her tummy to actually be able to roll over, and she also doesn't spend enough time on her back to be able to roll over. So that's something I need to work on, is putting her on the ground more. I generally just put her in her swing or put her sitting up, or her bouncer. So I need to work on putting her on the ground so we can get the whole rolling over thing whenever that might happen. She now enjoys bath time, which is great. So in my last update I said she hates bath time, she cries every time she goes in it, but again I persisted and Robert persisted and we put her in there and she loves it. What we actually did is we bought little ducks and little toys that go in it, and she loves kicking her legs, hearing them clanking off her bat. Her bat is like a plastic thing, and she loves that. So she has such a great time. She splashes her legs around and she will stay in there for a good long time now. So that's great that she has enjoyed that. Books, she really likes books. I have these pop-up books, I'll include pictures of them, like pop-ups and little puppets. So she really enjoys that. So I read her and Robert reads her the story, and then she just enjoys looking at the big bright colors and the puppet. So that's really good, because I love reading, Robert not so much, but I really would love her to get into reading of some kind. So that is really great that she's enjoying those books at such a young age. She's definitely more talkative now. She'll just sit there and babble and babble. She'll be like, oh, like all these noises. So that's great. So this is a new thing that she's been starting to do. She always was kind of a little bit talkative, but in recent days she's just been talking, all this babble and stuff. So that's really nice. It's really cute. So I always talk back to her in her little baby talk. And yeah, the last thing really I think is that she loves to be in her pram or stroller. She loves when we go into shops, if she's awake, because most of the time she'd just be asleep when she's in her pram or in the car. She will look up at the lights in the stores. She doesn't really like when you're outside and it's bright. She kind of squints a lot and turns her head like it's too bright. So we mainly keep the hood on her pram up. So that is really it. I don't know what weight she is and I don't know what height she is. I haven't got her measured or weighed in a long time, since she got her injections, I think. So we are due to go to the public health nurse soon. So once I have that, I'll give it to you in my next update. But that is really it, guys. Something I did want to talk about, and I'm not sure if people know, is that there's an app called the Wonder Weeks. So this basically tells you when your baby's going through learning and development stages. They're called leaps. So I've been finding that great, and Ava it's pretty accurate with her. It might be a couple of days off, like 2 or 3 days off. She's kind of, when it says it's 3 days until the next leap, that's really when I start to notice the signs that she is going through a leap. So we're going to be going on to leap 4 now, which is really long. It's like 4 or 5 weeks long, and I'm not interested in that. She is starting to show signs that she is going into it. But you should definitely look it up if you have a baby. It is really great to know that these things are coming up, or this could be the reason why your baby is so fussy. Yeah, I think that is it, guys. If you have any comments or anything, leave them down below. Don't forget I have Instagram, Twitter and Snapchat now, and all of that information will be in the description if you want to follow me there. And I also have a blog. It's www.karenhfamily.wordpress.com. I just kind of babble on there. So if you're interested, do follow along there too, or check it out. Again, the link of that will be down below. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you do, don't forget to subscribe. If you like it, give it a big old thumbs up, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye!